It's the Kyle Hyman Show on Redeemer Radio.
This is Kyle Hyman. I'd like to welcome back to the show Chris Padgett. How you doing, Chris?
I am so delightful.
You're good. You are going to be in town. You're going to be at St. Vincent de Paul in Fort Wayne for a Love, Life, and Laughter night. You're part 3. It's October 6th from 7:30 to 9 p.m. I'll repeat this at the end so people can put it in their calendars. But Love, Life, and Laughter. Which of those is your favorite?
Probably I love love.
Okay.
And I'm so glad to be alive. But
Yeah.
I do
Prerequisite.
I do think the laughter part's a big deal. Well, we're going to have a great time. I'm going to hopefully just find a way to tell some stories that really resonate with people. And we're just going to laugh a lot. We're going to talk about the beauty of faith and family, especially Catholic family and marriage. Just kind of those are basic tenets and areas that we focus in on our ministry. And I think that it's just going to be real and fun. Ultimately, I usually tell people, if you come to an event for me, I can do 2 things for you. 1, I'm pretty sure I can entertain you.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, I'll give you some stuff that works in real life so that it's real practical, tangible, kind of nitty-gritty stuff.
Okay. How many times do you think that we've been at an event together?
Well,
Like over
your
over
kids
20
are
maybe?
calling me, easy. I mean, your kids pretty much call me, Uncle Chris. I just made that up.
I don't know that my kids have been at events with you, but I have been at many events with you, and often find myself with tears of laughter.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, which is better than the other tears.
I prefer to hear that rather than that's the best sleep I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
So there's that.
He was a little uncomfortable, but boy, was I out.
I got a kink in my neck, but seriously. The truth is that I feel like joy is such an important part of our faith, and joy is a big part of our family. So ultimately, I love to see the two come together at events that I do, and I actually love having families come. Some people, some speakers maybe have an area of expertise and focus. Maybe they're really great with teens and junior high, which I love those kids, love working with them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are way better just talking to adults. Some are just good for academics, that kind of stuff. But for some weird reason, I think the Lord has given me an ability to speak with families and really all ages. So what happens is that it's a family affair. So I usually tell people to bring everyone, bring grandpa and grandma, bring the neighbor kid. I mean, tell the parents that you're taking the neighbor kid, but bring them.
Yeah. Would this be a good event to invite a non-Catholic to? Or are you going to be talking about the Eucharist a lot and confusing non-Catholics?
No, I think this would be a great event for people who maybe have been a little disenfranchised with the faith, maybe family members who are on the books as Catholics but don't really go very much to the sacraments. The reality is that it's just, I think they're going to find a lot of stuff that they can relate to, and I'll use stories that relate obviously to a Catholic context, but and we're going to talk about our faith and the beauty of our faith, but it's within the context of joy. And so ultimately, I think we're going to laugh a lot. Usually what happens at the end of events is that I think a lot of people who were hesitant really have breathed a sigh of relief and think this was well worth my time. Look, I have a lot of kids, so do you, and the truth is I don't want to waste time. And so when I invite people or I'm asking people to come, I will give 110% to make sure that event is a beautiful experience for them. And, maybe the greatest compliment I've ever received in the 20 plus years of doing ministry is someone said to me, Chris, you're the same guy in front of 10 people as you are in front of 25,000 people. And I thought, I don't even know if I could have anything nicer said to me when it comes to ministry, because I want people to know that I'm all in with them. So this is going to be a fun experience. It's all about family, and families are different and a little bit messy. And so it's kind of nice to know that we're okay, even if we're not okay.
Yeah, which is a title of one of your books, which people could probably get at the event, if not already online as well.
That was great. That was a great ad. Thank you for that.
Good. Try to plug that. So this whole idea of having joy in our families, I think some people are like, yeah, our family is full of joy too. And some people might not be able to relate to that. Either their family is maybe going through a hard time right now, or just has never really had joy in it. What would your message be for somebody who can't relate to a family and the word joy being used in the same sentence?
Right. And that's a tragedy. And actually, I would think it's far too common. There's a lot of unhappiness in families. And we do a lot of work with families. And so I can promise you, just from the things that we've seen, there's a lot of heartache and sorrow and a lot of joyless moments, it seems. But we do serve a God of new beginnings, and we do serve a God who is inviting us to live and to walk in joy. Joy doesn't mean that we're always happy, but knowing that there's a way to look at life through some different lenses can really help. I think what happens to a lot of families, they don't even know that's an option. And so partly I love to introduce this idea of finding joy amidst the mayhem. I mean, I talk a little bit about my parents' divorce, and that's certainly not a hilarious part of my talk. But the reality of finding Christ in our suffering and struggle is such an amazing gift. And I love that about what I get to do. So ultimately, I think in some ways we're going to try to introduce this idea. I'll use stories that a lot of people can relate to that help them just kind of think, oh my gosh, I can relate to that. So when they hear some of the difficulties and struggles that I've gone through, and that resonates with their difficulties and struggles, they can also see, in a complimentary fashion that, hey, he's had through difficult experiences, but he's found a lot of joy. Maybe I can do that too. I mean, I love the connection between. It's really a miracle that you could find joy from heartache or within the world of heartache and struggle. And I'm a firm believer in this. I mean, I think that's why I love comedy. Comedy can take things that are serious or severe or difficult, and they can turn it around because you just look at it a little bit differently. And sometimes it's just calling it out with what it is. I was just telling Linda my wife's Linda, so I was just telling her the other day, I love how Catholics at Mass, that responsorial psalm, sometimes I just want to tell, whoever's doing the music, could you just make it simple? I'm doing everything I can to remember the words of the responsorial psalm. I don't need, some music experience that's using every major minor note on the scale humanly possible, right?
I have two choices.
What? I don't even know what the words are.
No, I figure I have two choices. I can either repeat the response over and over in my head during the verses and not pay attention to the verses, or I can listen to the verses and have no clue what the response is when it comes back around. Oh,
for sure. The truth is, I don't even know how. The only way they know how to respond is they have it written down in front of them.
Right.
I mean,
cheaters.
That's it. But I think you're right. I would say the vast majority of people who have gone to Mass don't remember a single psalm, because the melody that some of these musicians go on, it takes about a half an hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a frustration, but it's also hilarious to me. That's what I think is so funny. The people who read the readings.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're either so boring, or I feel like they're getting ready to audition for Hamilton or something. They're.
I could go for the Hamilton audition if I was given a choice. That's what I would pick.
Oh, we can start a petition.
Okay. Well,
anyway, so we're going to have fun.
There's a little blurb on the St. Vincent's website, stv.org, and talks about, I don't know if you know what you're talking about here, but they say that you're going to be talking about help children, adults, and families understand and overcome roadblocks to living out their faith. Can you give me an example of a roadblock in your faith and a way that you overcame it?
Absolutely. I mean, the big example that I give is the divorce of my parents, and just kind of growing up in a broken home and trying to find Christ in that mess. And the amazing thing is that, I mean, God's love was so real, even in our financial struggles, in our, familial dynamic that was so broken and messy. Honestly, I think that's the miracle of our faith, is that God can bring life to seemingly dry bones. He can plant the goodness of his love in our life, and it seems an impossibility, and yet it grows. I mean, honestly, I am doing what I'm doing today because my mother, who was a single parent, who taught a nursery school in the basement of her house just to survive, that foundation that she laid by taking me to church and talking to me about faith is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing today. If she would have just given up and said, this roadblock, this difficulty is too hard, I forget you, God, who knows what I would be doing? Probably be in jail. But the truth of her commitment to God in that broken period of time changed our lives forever. And the countless thousands and thousands of lives who I've done ministry with are because of people like my mother, who overcame such a hurdle. Another example would be my grandmother, who was blind. And I have a whole bunch of funny stories I tell about her. And honestly, she had a huge opposition, an obstacle in her life, and could have easily complained. But in the entirety of my life of knowing that woman, there was not one time I could think of where she complained about her blindness. In fact, she had such a faith-filled walk with God that people were inspired whenever they were around her. Ultimately, I think that's kind of our opportunity, is to see again through the eyes of Christ a whole new way of living. And I love talking about seeing beauty come from ashes.
I like it.
I think there's something very cathartic about ministering to people who struggle and who are suffering. They're so ready for Christ the healer to come through those doors, and the way that we care for people, pray for people, love people in their difficulty is such a witness. I love it.
All right, well, I am going to be in Durango the weekend, but I get back, if all goes as planned, at 3:30, so I can make it on Sunday, October 6th, because it doesn't start until 7:30 p.m. So
yes,
hopefully everybody can come.
I'm hoping
Sunday,
I might
October
be
6th.
getting in close to that time as well, so that'll work out.
Good.
I'm hoping also to be there.
All right, well, check it out. Where can people find more information about you, buy your books, watch videos, and whatnot?
Well, my gosh, there's so many hilarious videos we're putting up. Happy Place Homestead. I know it sounds weird, but it's our little channel that we have. We put all these funny videos up. It's not all just homestead stuff. We're doing all this kind of family words and some comedic things that are going up. But that's a great place for videos. ChrisPadgett.com. You can find tons of the books and information about ministry. Basically, just type my name in and it should come up on all the social media platforms. But we love what we do, and look forward to meeting everybody.
All right. And if you're trying to spell Chris Padgett, it's Padgett. So
that's right.
That way people can find it. All right. Thanks, Chris.
He is not
Look forward to seeing you
brother.
October 6th at St. Vincent's in Fort Wayne.
God bless you.